Thank you so much. I'm Peter Espersen from LEGO. I work in the online community engagement department, and I work mainly with our community and with our social media. The thing I'm going to take you through here for the next 15 to 16 minutes is how we in LEGO work with our community and how we try to leverage it to something positive instead of some kind of thing we battle or have a problem with. Let's see. Is this working? Oh, let's see there if it works. I hope the Emperor is more forgiving than I. There we go. All right. The first thing is it's about people. It's not about a platform. And that's something I'll start out with, and then we'll move into LEGO and our fans, why it's important, and at the end I'll give you some great examples we're doing right now, and I'll show you what's next. There. All right, just some thoughts really quick. You know, platforms disappear and appear all at random. At the right side of my slide, you can see how it has gone for Facebook and MySpace. So I think it's important that when you look in social media and working with your fans, don't think about a platform. Think about the people there. And don't think strategy. Don't do a Facebook strategy. Do a social media strategy. And make sure it doesn't depend on one single platform. Remember, it's something called creative destruction. That's something coined back a long time ago by James March and Joseph Schumpeter. Because it's important that when new things appear, old things disappear, and that's really important this as well. And just the really, really quick 5 rules of social media. Listen, structure what you've heard, and act upon what you've heard. Now, I'll start with a game changer. Well, LEGO has always had a big community, but there came really an epiphany back in '98 when LEGO launched the Mindstorms. The Mindstorms is this kind of robot you can program and you can make it do a lot of really, really cool stuff. But the thing that happened was a couple of weeks after it was launched, there was some guys at Stanford, some really young kids who disassembled the processor and showed people how to kind of edit it and make the Mindstorms robot programmable so you can attach a flamethrower to it or a lot of things that were not in line with LEGO values. So this situation, usually you would just, what do you do when somebody messes with your product? You unleash the hounds, right? So, but it instead spurred an internal discussion in LEGO about, well, let's see if, oh, there we go. We own the trademark, but do we really own the brand? And that was really a big game changer for us. Because, you know, LEGO, we perceive it as a brand community. We own a trademark, that's called LEGO, and you know that makes small bricks. But the brand really exists in the mind of the consumer. And every consumer has kind of their own perception of what LEGO are. And if the brand is not in the mind of the consumer, does it really have any value? I don't think so. Well, let's look at our fans. Our fans do a lot of really, really fun things. They do events, and you know, last year there was more than 1.6 million people participating in LEGO events all over the world. And keep in mind that these events are made solely by fans. We don't pay anybody, we don't do them ourselves or anything. They are fan-organized events. And at the bottom there, you can see our CEO, Jørgen V. Knudstrup, who attends one of these every year, and all of our corporate managed team attend some of the fan-based events to have fun with them. And the thing he really said was, he was at Brick World in Chicago, and he said it was absolutely amazing. These people are really, really good at what they do and make amazing stuff. Also, I just found an example from Berlin about a guy called, I think he's called Jan Votman, who's a LEGO artist. We don't have anything to do with him. But the thing he does, he goes around cities all over the world, New York, Rome, Berlin, and he kind of does this. He finds cracks of holes in the walls and kind of completes them with LEGO. And we don't have anything to do with it, but this is also what our fans do. They use them as a medium, the brick as a medium. Let's see. There we go. I don't know if you can see this, but you know, the LEGO community is really, really visible online. We have a lot of user groups, more than 500 videos on YouTube, millions of pictures on Flickr and Facebook. And this is really, really amazing that they do all this, but this is not something that we pay them to do. Hit it. All right, I'm just going to talk a little bit about why we perceive that this is really, really important. You know, Malcolm Gladwell coined it pretty good here, but it's about the communication between consumers is actually more valuable than the things that go on between a marketeer and a consumer. If you look up on the internet the different kind of graphs of which people are the most trusted, marketeers, they're down there along with used car salesmen and politicians and Catholic priests and these kind of things. So that's really not something good. So you have to facilitate this inter-consumer or interpersonal relationship. And also, if you have really good social objects, small pieces of content, information, or anything, you can seed it into the conversation, and it can give you tremendous value. All right, I'm going to show you a tool that Lego coined first back in the 70s, and we've used it ever since, and we're very happy for it. It shows what we call our consumer affinity. It's a pyramid where at the really bottom you have the connected households. That's people who own something of Lego. We have active households who own something that is of Lego or have bought something for the last year. And then we move up until the very top of the pyramid where we have the lead users, the user partners, and the people that are really skilled. And of course, the ones at the top spends more money on Lego and has a really, really high net promoter score compared to the lower parts. So the thing we try to do in my department is actually this. We try to bend the top of the pyramid. If you see, we try to bend it downwards and use all this fantastic content and great stuff that they do in the higher levels of the pyramid towards the broader masses. We don't try to take it over. We don't own it, definitely not. But we try to amplify it. And I think that's a really, really beautiful thing. So, what are we doing with our fans? And I only have like 15 minutes now, but I could go on and on and on for hours about this. But I'll show you one thing that was really cool. Back in 2007, we scrapped our old iron railway lines. And that was a big problem because we have hundreds of thousands of people who really love the Lego trains. So the thing we had to do, we went into a co-creation process with the fans. We invited some of them to our headquarters, and we started this building exercise. And the thing that came out of it was the Lego FlexiTrack, which is made out of plastic, and you can still use the old 8-volt train system on them. That was really good. We have the design by me, and that is because our fans do amazing stuff. We have great designers and we're really good at it, but we also wanted to enable our fans to do their own stuff. So the thing you can do, and you can see here, my boss has a really cool car. That's the old Volvo 444, I think. Well, he thought he wanted it designed. He can put it into a system which is called the Digital Designer. Then he can break it down brick by brick, and he can get it delivered in a box with it on the front page with building instructions to his doorway. So you can actually be your own Lego designer. We also have this, and this is something that's really, really cool for me. It's made with a Japanese company called Elephant Design. It's the Lego Kuzo. The Lego Kuzo is taken from the Japanese word kuzo, which means wish. And the thing you can do here is you can upload your own design if you make a really cool deep-sea submarine, if you make beautiful musical instruments. When you get it up in the model, then other people can I want this, I'd like to pay for it, and if you get 1,000 votes, it gets produced. I think that's really interesting. And of course, we have an iPhone app. That's something you gotta have these days. And I'll take you through another example, and this is kind of one of the things where we really try to interact with our community. We got this letter you can see here on the right side of the slide, and it says something in French that, well, dear Lego Group, I have this Facebook community with 350,000 people, and it's called For Those Who've Experienced Pain of Stepping on a Lego Brick. And then he goes on in the mail demanding that we give them an official apology for all the pain we've caused them. And this is actually something that, I don't know, many hundred users liked and commented on, but we decided to try to answer in the media where we was first contacted. Could you roll the video down there? With sound, please.
I'd really like to apologize on behalf of the LEGO Group for all the pain we've caused you during the past 52 years when you stepped on LEGO bricks with your bare feet, wandering through a dark room at night because your kids played with the LEGO bricks the day before. We do hope, however, that you had great fun together with your kids playing with the LEGO bricks. And we sincerely hope so, because this year we'll turn out another 29 billion LEGO bricks, which will probably flood your floors too. However, we have found this great new solution on how you can avoid being hurt.
Look out for the guy. Thank you. I don't know if any of you guys recognize the beautiful gentleman on the right in the video, but that was me. But the thing that was cool about this was that it wasn't something that we put out in a press release. We just sent it to the guy who sent us email, and we let him post it. So we're not stealing his thunder in any way. We didn't post it on the LEGO corporate website or get it on the 9 o'clock news, but we made sure that it was about this guy and his community. So that was one of the things that we've just did. There we go. What's next? Well, I unfortunately can't show you any new products or any statements in corporate management, but what I can say is kind of one of the dreams that I'm working with along with a lot of other colleagues at LEGO. We have these millions of pieces of content out there, and what if we could create some kind of hub or a window to all things LEGO? What if all this LEGO enthusiasm was made visible, and it could kind of create a snowball of inspiration? And if you remember the consumer affinity pyramid, kind of drive users up to the higher levels, and made sure that there was no more lost LEGO souls out there. Because the thing that always happens when we're out somewhere and talking at a conference, people come and say, hey, that's really cool. I wish I knew that, because I'd like to do that with my kid. And that's something, and that's kind of the end note of what I'm doing here. And just a final thing. Let's see what happens. There we go. To sum it up, this is all about our fans. We do this because we love them. And this is not something I'm saying because it's marketing BS. It's really important for us. And it's about ideas and apples. You know, if you have an apple in one hand and your friend has another apple, you can kind of exchange them and you still have one apple. But if it's ideas, then you can exchange your ideas and you have two ideas each. And that's kind of the thing that's kind of we work with profoundly here. And I think that was all I had, and I think my time is up. But thank you very much for listening, and I'll be happy to discuss with you later on. Thank you.